Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Duff's Tavern. I'm currently joined by a man who has known me my entire life and on multiple occasions has wanted to kill me and thought about, why the fuck did I have him? This is my father, the one, the bald, the only, Tommy Duffy.
Hey buddy, what's up? Yeah, I should have pulled out a couple times. I thought about that.
Yep. Best thing about me is running down my mother's leg.
Oh, your mother's going to kick your ass. Oh. God, you're just stupid. Fuck. Your grandfather's going to hear this. Your grandmama's going to hear this. And everybody's going to kick your ass. And I'm going to sit back and laugh.
But hey, at least it's funny though.
Yeah, well, I'm enjoying it. I'll enjoy it another time.
We currently have, for the beer of the week, is Swill Dog Hard Cider. Dad got this when you went up to where?
Yeah, on our annual fishing trip back to Smoke Hole Canyon. And this is right outside of Franklin, West Virginia, where we always stay. And I think the first time I saw it is when we went back.
Yeah.
You went with me, and it was me, you, and Pap. And I said I got to try it. And then last year, because going to the national championship, I didn't have a shot or a chance to go back and go fishing with Pap. So this year, when I did, I made a plan to stop there, but I found out that some of the stores carry this. So that's when I called you and said, "What do you want? And which ones do you want?" And I was going to pick you some up and bring it home.
The mango and the normal cider.
Yeah.
So a little bit about Swill Dog is they're founded in 2016, and their sort of logo of it is their CFO, their Chief Fetching Officer, as it says here, Lucy Pickles. And let's just see what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's lively, tart apple, fruit, and melon, ginger, and tannin. Yeah. So we'll see what it is.
It's not bad. I like it. It's a little bit tartar than...
It's dry.
Yeah.
It's drier than I thought. I mean, not that dry's bad, but I was expecting just like it to be completely like sweet and fruitful and kind of like a real apple cider. Non-alcoholic apple cider is what I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, this reminds me of a lot of like traditional Irish ciders.
Yeah, I was just about to say it reminds me of either like Mangers or Bulmers. Like it, I know it's one name when I went to Ireland, but it's another name over here. I think it's Mangers over here and Bulmers over there.
I think it's Mangers over there.
I don't know. I remember it started with a B, but I also was drunk most of Ireland, so that I could be wrong.
I'll let you know, he went to Ireland when he was in high school.
Yep.
17 years old.
18. I was 18.
Oh, you were 18.
I was 18. I had some of my best times over there. So throughout most of my life, you have been my coach in many sports.
Mm-hmm.
And how, as a player, have I been?
It's been a blessing and a curse same freaking time. When you were little, and I was coaching you in baseball, it was amazing. I mean, when we were in Adena and you were tearing things up and you were doing really well, but you always had that stubborn streak that just came from your mother.
You sure about that? She's going to hear this.
Well, she's already going to kick your ass for what you said.
Yeah,
already,
she'll just add you into it.
No, she'll be kicking your ass for a while. That she'll probably forget about what I just said.
I'll remind her.
But anyhow, you were doing good, but you had your stubborn moments, and then I'd say probably the worst time coaching you was middle school. Middle school football. And you were just an idiot. And I mean, like, the one time when you were like, "I quit," I'm like, "Fine, quit." And you're like, "I will," and I'm like, "Take off my helmet, my shoulder pads, and you were standing there in your underwear, and I'm like, "Get the hell off my field. That's my equipment. Get off." And you're like, "You serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious. Go." And then what? Your mother came and picked you up.
Mom came and picked me up,
and then got home, and I think it was probably the next day you apologized,
I was playing Minecraft. I'll let you know when I got home. I was just playing.
But it was like a day you apologized and then came back on a team. But then when you started playing rugby, there was no problems.
Yeah.
It was just trying to keep you under control. Because you would just do stupid shit.
I would, but I don't think I've been. No, I got one yellow card my whole career so far.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I got a ton of them.
I got one. I either know how to hide it really well or just do whatever when the ref's not looking. It's like, who's going to believe the fans?
But I mean, in rugby was a lot different. You really came into your own. You didn't like, I don't know, you didn't like football.
No, I didn't have a neck with the pads at all. I could barely move my head, and I kept getting blindsided by Stanley.
Yeah.
That was the main.
Well, I put you number 45 for a reason, right?
Just Rudy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't turn out
like Rudy.
I didn't turn out like him.
No.
I was so easy to quit. No, but I kept getting blindsided by Stanley. It's just like half the season, like I'd always set up as a linebacker. Then here comes Stanley just hitting the side of me, and I picked myself up from the ground, and I hated it so many times. It was the last straw.
Well, I remember. Yeah, it was funny. I was thinking about him the other day and wondering what he's doing, because he was a hellacious little kid. As far as, I mean, that team that you were on was an amazingly talented team. I don't know. I mean, it kind of struck me odd that they all went up to James Island and didn't do anything football wise. And then I was there. I was there 1 year. Was it your freshman year? I was coaching football at James Island.
It was my 8th grade year of middle school because I was a towel boy.
Yeah. Ball boy. I thought I was going back and forth your 8th grade year, and then I went up your freshman year.
No.
And then your sophomore year is when I left and went to the Citadel.
No, you were at the Citadel way before I went to high school.
Was I?
Yes. Because freshman year of high school was when I started the rugby team.
You started it? Mm-hmm. How'd you start it?
With your help, but
okay.
I was your inside man.
Yeah. You didn't start it.
I just like saying I started it because...
You helped start it. I'll give you that.
If you didn't have a kid on the inside, then there wouldn't be a James on the rugby team.
Well, there was a couple of players that were going to come out that got me a lot. But I mean, you were instrumental on driving that team your entire 4 years there. I will tell you the funniest freaking time coaching you was sophomore year. Your sophomore year against
Bishop
England.
Yep, I remember this.
So they were drilling you. I mean, they were gunning for you. They were drilling for you, and I just remember you, like, I don't know, you went into a rock, and everybody started, like, you came up and you're kind of woozy, but you poached the ball, and you're running. Oh no!
It was off a kickoff, I think.
Your nose was bloody. Like, I thought someone broke your nose, and they were trying to call a blood timeout for you, and you were you just packed your nose full of grass. You're like, I'm not going out.
No, I was the only hooker.
I know. And then was it off the kickoff or was it off a poach?
It was off of a kickoff. I had a lot more poaches that game, but this one was off of a kickoff.
And then all of a sudden you're down to the 5 meter. You dive and you get up and you start celebrating. And I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" You're like, "I just scored a try." I'm like, "You goof! You got 5 more meters to you score." Oh shit!
Yeah, and I go up, sort of spike the ball, and then the sir just comes by and starts laughing at me.
Yeah,
but yeah, that high school rugby was interesting because I had freshman, sophomore, half of my junior year, and then I want to say a week of my senior year before I broke another bone.
Yeah. Well, it was your junior year that you broke your collar.
Yeah, I broke my collar junior year, then I broke the scaphoid senior year, and I technically broke it like 3 months before I knew it was broken. I just thought it was sprained, and I kept like lifting and playing on it. It wrapped up.
I remember I'm lying off the field before a match. you guys were playing touch, and I remember telling you fall on it and break that fucking arm again.
Yep.
And sure as shit,
The doctor said I could play touch. He just told me to not fall.
I was gonna kill you.
Yeah, no. So that was we were playing a touch rugby game. It was like I think we had like 2 games left in the season. I could come in. I was extremely excited because I was playing again. I just wanted to practice, and I come running out the right sideline, and the ball's being passed to me, but it goes a little bit low, and I hit it with my foot and hit my right shoulder, and my left one was broken and just shockwaved and re-broke my left collarbone. I just get up, roll my shoulder, feel the grinding, and then immediately like run off to the car.
You walked over.
Yeah, I walked over.
You and Dad. I'm like, you don't tell me you broke that fucker again. And you're like, I broke it again. And I'm like, oh, great.
The thing is, I had to drive Kyle's car home. It wasn't even my car. I had to drive Kyle's car back.
And I had to stay for the game.
Yeah.
So, like, Mom took you to the hospital.
Yep.
I had to stay and coach.
No, I didn't go to the hospital. I went to the hospital the next day.
That's right.
I slept it off.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I slept off a broken bone. Just as you taught me.
Jeez. Rub some dirt on it, kid. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Rub some dirt. Don't think about it.
Grinds for quitters.
Yeah. But of like how long have you been coaching again? Like how many years?
Coaching what?
Anything. Just being a coach in general.
Over 35 years.
35 years.
Yep. I started coaching after I started playing. Now, and that was my sophomore year of college. I went down and started coaching. And I actually started coaching with my dad and Pap. And Pap was the head coach at St. Michael's grade school. And me and a couple guys I played football with all came down and started coaching. And then we had won 3 league championships back to back to back. And then one of Dad's high school teammates that he played football with in high school, Jimmy Thomas, who was the head coach at Wheeling Central Catholic, went to Wheeling Park and was coming back as head coach at Wheeling Central. He wanted a bunch of young coaches. So he came down and talked to my dad, and he talked to Pap and asked him if he would be willing to let go of me and George Strauss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, oh, yeah, absolutely. And so that's when I moved up to high school football. And I coached at Wheeling Central under Jimmy Thomas for a couple years. Then I met your mother, and we moved to Cincinnati. And it took me a while to get back into coaching down there, but I coached at Newport Central Catholic. I was there 2 years, and everybody at the time, one of the greatest high school football teams was Cincinnati Moeller, and that was, we lived in there, and that was our district. And you were actually, if we stayed in Cincinnati after you were born, you probably would have went to Cincinnati Moeller. But I went up there, and I mean that was my dream job. But like I'm looking around, and this guy played for the Detroit Lions. Another guy was an All-American at Notre Dame. And they're all coaches. This is like a high school coaching staff. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Matter of fact, Michael Munoz, he was playing for Moeller, and his dad was Anthony Munoz, who is in the Football Hall of Fame and was the he was the defense player for, I think it was defense, or he was. But anyways, he went in the Hall of Fame. But he was a consultant, so like all these people were there, and I'm like, I went to West Liberty. I didn't even finish my football career at West Liberty. It's like, and I'm here. So anyhow, and then there was this place, it was called the Gaslight Grill, and there was a lot of coaches that went there. We would sit and just talk shop and drink some beer and stuff like that. And Tom Stickley, who was the head coach of Purcell Marion, and Purcell Marion was the Moeller back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so but Muller got built and Purcell Marion kind of dropped off. But he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, how would you like to come down and coach at Purcell?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to coach at Purcell. I'm at Muller." And he goes, "Just come down." He goes, I want you to, you can have the defensive backs, and I just want you to time them. Just come down and time them. So he ran a 4-3 defense, which would give us, 2 backs and 2 safeties. And I went down there and I timed them, and every one was under a 4.740. And every one of these kids went Division I football.
Shit.
And I'm like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm going to jump all over that. So I went to Purcell and coached Purcell for a couple of years, and then you were probably, I think, we left Cincinnati when you were 3, 2.
I don't know. I don't remember anything. I didn't come into consciousness yet.
Yeah. So then we moved home, and I started coaching and teaching at Steubenville Catholic Central, and then I went to Buckeye. Then we moved down here, and I got completely out of coaching for several years while you were playing baseball and stuff like that. And then I got back into it in middle school, when you were in middle school, because I was asked. My plan wasn't to coach.
Yeah, that is the worst thing as a kid, is like having your dad as a coach because of the stigma behind it. But that stigma never stuck with me. You were too quick to throw me on the bench and threaten to throw me on the bench. Like, there were a few times where, like, throughout playing under you, like, we've had like arguments. You put me on the bench. We almost like got into a fist fight once. 2 hotheads on the same team. Yeah, I know. Like, I remember after one of them, like, some of the parents were like, "I thought you were about to punch your dad," or some of the players were like, "I thought you were about to punch your father." I'm like, "No, I like living. I choose life." But it was baseball. You coached me. I remember. I
didn't coach you baseball down here.
No, you coached me up there. Yeah, up north. And the only like memory I remember from that is when I racked you in the nuts with
a
ball off of a T-ball.
Fuck. Jesus, I remember that. On the mound. Like, oh, he's not going to hit that hard. Like, okay. So, like, watching you as a toddler walking out in the back with a stick, smacking every goddamn thing he could find. I'm like, he can hit it that hard. And sure as shit, I couldn't even get my glove up in time. Racked me in the nuts. I dropped down. And then, of course, you have you're 4 or 5 years old. You already have a sick sense of humor. So you're laughing. You think it's hilarious. I was good. Good times.
Good times. I enjoyed it. Yeah, baseball up north was completely different than baseball down here because you didn't coach me down there, but you coached me up there, and I think the leagues were Pinto, Mustang, Bronco.
Yeah, if
I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and I don't think I'm ever made out of the Pinto league.
Yeah, you did.
I thought like if we stayed up for another year, it would have been in the Bronco.
No, it was Pinto, Mustang, Bronco. And I think you were in Mustang, but you never went to Bronco.
Yes, that's what it was. Because Mustang is when we faced, I forget the name of the team, but they had the white with the pinstripes.
Yeah.
Where I hit the homer off of them.
Oh, you mean up there?
Yeah, up there.
No, you were in Pinto.
Okay, Pinto.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking like when you stopped playing baseball down here.
No, down here, I don't think they had like leagues like that. They just
they do. It's all pony ball.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I just knew Cal Ripken League, and then I tried to do baseball at Fort Johnson Middle School, and I didn't get it, so I called it.
Yeah, I mean, and it was weird. I mean,
I got stuck in the outfield.
Well, plus, I mean, it was weird because baseball was so cliquey on James Island.
Yeah.
Back in that time, and you were always, since we would move down here, you kind of were always on the outskirts with your classmates, and it was kind of hard. I mean, watching because you were such a good player, but you just like the kids were just not nice at times. and not that I'll cry that you're being bullied. You got to figure out how to navigate the shit yourself. But it was just like but you just had that Duffy attitude. Like, well, then fuck it. I'll find something else to do, which you did. So
I think I did soccer after that. I tried. I
was,
attempted soccer for 2 seasons,
fuck.
And then I didn't like it because I couldn't hit somebody. So then I did wrestling.
Wrestling. You did wrestling. You did wrestling in Buckeye.
I don't count that because I didn't really want to do wrestling. It was just like something to do when I was young.
But actually, if you would have stayed in wrestling, you would have been really you were talented in wrestling.
Yeah, I missed it, but if I could do wrestling and rugby at the same time in high school, I would have.
I think, and I say this all the time. I'll take wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestlers want. I don't know if I can play rugby. Well, hell yeah, you can.
Yeah.
First of all, you know how to tackle. You know how to tackle one-on-one with no help whatsoever.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think wrestlers make damn good rugby players, and I think that's what probably made you so good. Your tackling form was always perfect in rugby.
And just even the Citadel players that come in that have a wrestling background are pretty good compared to the people who haven't. Dad's the head coach at the Citadel, and I'm one of his. I'm the hooker's coach, assistant hooker coach, whichever hat I have to fill that day.
Yeah, you'll fill several hats. No, but I mean, you watch pro, and like Burgers is. I mean, he's a phenomenal. He was a phenomenal high school wrestler, and then all of a sudden he comes down and starts playing rugby, and the kid's just.
He's the only kid I can't beat when we do those wrestling drills. Yeah. He's the only one. Like I can beat usually all the other players in a wrestling drill, and then he comes up, and I hate it because I want to beat him so bad.
But and because he's, I mean, Pro isn't a big guy. I mean, he's like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah,
about 145, 150 pounds. And I mean your lineman size.
Yeah.
But I mean his form is flawless.
Oh, it's insane.
His leverage is ridiculous, and that's what makes him such a good tackler. On the rugby team.
I go to spar with him and I set up. I'm trying to see if there's any openings, and I'm immediately on my back in about 5 seconds.
And he's freaking fearless.
Oh yeah, he is.
I mean, absolutely fearless.
Like a lot of the other players are always iffy when I come up because of my size and stuff like that. Except for Days or any of the big guys. Sigi doesn't care. Sigi would.
Yeah. But a lot of those guys at Citadel. I mean. And it's funny because some of them are absolutely fearless, and some of them are fearless and not knowing exactly why they're fearless, which makes them dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the Citadel kids that have come through have been, I've been around the Citadel rugby players since freshman year of high school, I think.
Yeah.
And I've basically, sort of grown up watching the changes in Citadel rugby and everything like that, to the point where my freshman year of college, the kids that I played against at the Citadel when I went to Coastal, I grew up with them. They were wanting me to go to the Citadel. I didn't want to shave my hair because I liked my hair so much. So I went up to their rival, Coastal.
You didn't want to wear a uniform?
That too. Well. I'd rather go to Coastal, which is the complete opposite of it.
Yeah.
But when y'all came up to face us, it was Larry Bermudez who I always he was the hooker for y'all. I always messed around with him. I was giving him shit. And I come up, I'm getting ready on the field. Larry comes walking by. He's like, "Oh, you're too good to speak to me, Duffy? You think you're so much better?" I'm like, "I'm going to put you in the ground, Larry." And what happened that game when I had the ball?
You did. You put him in the ground. But that was an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Because Coastal at that time, it was Coastal, all the years that I had coached up to that point, it was always a toss-up between Coastal and us.
Yeah.
And it was usually Coastal would beat us at Coastal and then we would beat Coastal at the Citadel.
And then we tied that time.
We tied 0-0. That was the first time I've ever coached in my entire life. Was a 0-0 tie.
Yep.
And then you came down the next year and we won, and then we won all the way up until this year.
Yeah.
Which we lost in sevens, which we shouldn't have. But that's another story. But anyhow, I mean, like, that was amazing. And it's still that picture of you running the ball at the Citadel is still like it's on my wall.
Yeah, the one with
computer wall. It worked
with Gage in the background. I didn't realize that was
Gage's head.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Gage until it was this year,
and that was his knob year.
Yeah,
because his head was just completely shaved.
I didn't realize that until like I was showing some of the other players that picture, and they're like, "That's Gabe in the background." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was Gabe. I didn't know I played him. Gage.
Yeah,
Gage. I didn't know I played him at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But playing like rugby has been interesting. Like I early days when I was young, I haven't played it yet. Me, you, and Wolfie would always go down to it's Prohibition now. What was it before it?
It was Prohibition. Wait, the Mercury.
Mercury.
Yeah, Mercury.
It was Mercury. It was downtown Charleston. Me, Dad, and drunk Uncle Wolfie would always go and watch Six Nations.
Sometimes Rich Walker would go.
Yes, I forgot about that. Rich would also go, but we would watch Six Nations rugby.
Yep.
And besides me knowing a tiny bit about rugby because you played for the Cincinnati Celts, that was the first time I actually remember watching it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what led me down wanting to play rugby and starting the team at James Island by myself. He's staring daggers.
You believe what you want to believe.
Oh, I will.
I know you will.
I make up my own fantasies, and
Yes,
they are
you do.
amazing. But those were some of my favorite times watching rugby and hanging out with Wolfie and everyone.
Well, and it's funny because like everybody gets fired up for the Super Bowl or gets fired up for the national championship in college football, or or March Madness or whatever. And every year, like clockwork, there's the Six Nations, and nothing gets me more pumped for a sporting event in the entire world than Six Nations. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just in it. Long as everybody roots against England, then we're good. But it was fun because being an Ireland fan, mm-hmm. you would just watch Ireland every year just get consistently better and better and better. And now, I mean, they're number one in the world.
Yeah,
there's nobody better than on the international stage in Ireland rugby. And it was fun because I'd roll you out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning because Ireland would have a game. It's 6 or it's 7:30, and we would all meet down at the Mercury Bar. And,
you and Wolf were doing Irish car bombs, taking a shot at Jameson every try.
We were drinking apple juice.
Apple juice, yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Remember they couldn't serve whiskey that early in the morning.
Yep.
So they were giving us apple juice.
That is.
But we would have the Irish breakfast first and coat our stomachs. And then every try, we were doing a shot with our Jameson. Or
apple juice.
Jameson with
apple juice. Welch's.
Yeah. along with Guinness.
It's a good thing I had my driving permit at the time.
I remember Mom had to drive some a couple times.
Yeah.
And I remember looking over. I think that was the first time you ever had Jameson because Wolfie.
No, my first time was at the wake.
Uncle Joe's?
Uncle Patrick's.
Uncle Pat.
Pat's wake. I think it was Pat's wake. It's when we saw
Uncle Pat's alive.
Not Pat. Yeah, Joe. I'm terrible with names.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, sorry, family.
I can drink another one, Sparky. You're kicking ass.
No, it was Uncle Joe's wake because either that or Grizz. It was one of those two.
Well, I'm sure up in Wheeling.
Yeah, up in Wheeling because Uncle Mick was bringing around a bottle of whiskey. And he pours his shot and puts it in front of me. And I look at you, look at the shot, look at you.
I was like, go ahead.
I did it, and it didn't burn at all.
It was funny because Uncle Mick, every funeral, every wake that we've been to, Uncle Mick's like, the the driving force of doing shots of whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I remember this time when it's not funny, but it's funny. Grandpap Duffy's wake. My grandpap, your great grandpap, and all my uncles, including my dad, were just tore up. I mean, their father passed away, and seeing all these men that were giants to me growing up. I mean, they were gods, and then all of a sudden, seeing them just drunk and crying, and I don't know if I could paint a verbal picture of this, but there's Uncle Mick, who looks like a leprechaun on steroids. He's like 5'8", stout as hell. He used to be mean as a rattlesnake.
He looks like the Notre Dame logo.
Yeah. and also was the dean of discipline in my high school, which is a whole other branch of stories
We can get into.
Yeah. But I remember him standing there, his ties. We all went to the funeral, and everybody's buttoned up and looking good, press suits and everything, and so we get to the viewing, and Grandpa had a thing that was anybody that wanted to come up and say words, they had to do a shot, and so, and we've gone through St. Joe's Catholic Church. St. Joseph's Cathedral. They were part of that since my uncles were little.
Yeah.
So to see the nuns come up and the honor Grandpa, and you'd see him take a shot, and then you'd see a couple more nuns like an hour later come through again, and that was absolutely hilarious. But there's Uncle Mick at the wake, and all of a sudden his tie's halfway undone, his top button's unbuttoned, his hair's messed up. And he has one part of his dress shirt untucked that's hanging down over his belt and over his pants. And he's like taking one step forward, 2 steps sideways, 1 step forward, 2 steps sideways. And so he had a bottle of Bushmills, which at the time the family didn't know. But, it's Protestant whiskey. And so here's a bunch of Catholics and an Irish Catholic wait, and Uncle Mick's going, "Come here, boy, have some smush bills." He couldn't even talk. He was like, "It's smush bills." I'm like, "Uncle Mick, it's Bushmills." "It's smush bills, and don't contradict me." "You got it. It's smush bills." And we went through. Oh my God, there was probably a case and a half of whiskey at the wake, and it was gone like in 20 minutes.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, it was ridiculous, and that was probably one of the best Irish wakes I've ever been to. Was Grandpap's.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I have an Irish wake, but I don't know. It'll be like 4 people and 2 making sure I'm dead.
I'll make sure it's funny. I mean, shit. The meme I sent you when you stroked out, I'm pretty sure that's a good epitome for how your wake will actually be.
I hope so.
Yeah, when he stroked out, I
had a stroke. For anybody that's fucking listening, I had a physical stroke. I didn't stroke out. You're such a dick.
Your memory's off. That's why you don't remember it that well. It's because of the stroke.
No wonder you don't have any friends.
That's a whole different story. So I'm back home. Just dropped out of college, and I'm back home. I think I'm working for Starbucks at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm asleep in my bed. This all happens.
It's on Martin Luther King Day.
Yep. This all happens when I'm asleep. The whole stroke, go to the hospital and stuff like that. I'm asleep through this, and I'm slightly waking up. And Maureen, my sister, comes in, opens the door. She said, "Dad's in the hospital. I'm about to go there." I'm still in a fugue state, so I thought I was dreaming that. I wake up, I get a text. Maureen says she's at the hospital. Dad had a stroke.
She's pissed off at you because she thinks you should be there.
Yeah. And I read that Dad's in the hospital for a stroke. And I immediately send the meme from Brother Bear when they're in the salmon circle. And the old lady bear goes, "I lost my dear Edgar last year." And you hear him in the background saying, "Quit telling everyone I'm dead." I send that to the group chat, not knowing if my dad's a vegetable or if he's still himself. And
he posted it on Facebook.
No, I sent in the family group chat. You screenshot it and posted on Facebook. Oh, that's
right. Yeah, I did.
Now, my grandma wants my head examined for science.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny. I thought it was absolutely funny. And people were getting offended, going, yeah. And I'm like, I'm the only one that should be offended. Like, I don't understand why everybody else is getting offended. I thought it was funny. I had a freaking stroke. I thought it was hilarious.
At least your humor was still intact. Yeah. It didn't take that away.
Well, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, it was that from what I gathered and what a close personal friend had done research on, and you know, I had gotten COVID before COVID hit. I mean, before the epidemic hit, and
you got COVID before it was cool.
Yeah,
COVID hipster.
Yeah, before everybody else was cool and catching COVID, I caught it first. I was one of the original. I was the OG of COVID.
Dad, the super spreader.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm the fucking super spreader. I didn't even know it.
South Carolina K0.
So, you know, and it was funny because, you know, 4 or 5 times in November, you know, I'd gone to the doctor, and you know, I get tested for the flu, and the doctor's like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. You don't have the flu. I'm coming home. I'm just dying. Like, I'm not dying, but I'm like, I get home, and I have just enough energy to walk through the door and make it to the bedroom and go to sleep, except for the fact that I had to shit like a goose, and I was up, and I think I lost like 40 pounds. And then that was November, and I started getting better about mid-December, and I was better for Christmas, and then went through New Year, and then came up on Martin Luther King Day, and your mother and I were off, and so I think we were going to go out to Adams Run, and there was a piece of farm property we wanted to look at, and anyways, so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, my ears start ringing. I mean, like loudly, like someone had, you know, slapped me in the side, in the ears. You know, when you had
tinnitus.
Yeah, I mean, but like I've gotten hit. I've been slapped in the ear before, and that pressure just makes your ears start ringing. Mm-hmm. And it was super loud. And I looked at your mom. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my ears are ringing. I don't know what the hell's going on. And then all of a sudden, boom, it stops. And then as soon as it stopped, it felt like someone took an axe and split me right down the middle of my head. And I was like, God damn, go get me ibuprofen. And she went and got me ibuprofen, and I went to stick out my right arm to get it from her, and I couldn't move my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, I can't move my arm. She goes, oh my God, you're having a stroke. So
put a pin in it. What's the meme you shared on Facebook a week before that happened?
What was it?
Don't get you a hot wife. Get you a wife that knows.
That's right.
Get you a wife that knows the signs of a stroke.
Because some of my buddies that were in their early 50s were single and never married and were chasing 25-year-old women. So I put that meme on Facebook. It said, you know, at your age, don't find yourself a hot wife. Find yourself a wife that knows the symptoms of a stroke. And then the irony is that like a week later, I have a stroke. So, but then, you know, I tried to get up and my right leg wouldn't move. Mm. And then I fell into the wall. And then it was just like, then all of a sudden I get pissed. You know, I'm like, God damn it, this isn't happening to me. And I'm trying to walk around and your mom is screaming at me, sit down. I'm like, no, I'm going to walk this off. She goes, you're having a fucking stroke. Stop it. You know, and then Lauren comes out, and Lauren in her drama is like, oh my God. So that, you know.
At least you had a son that was asleep through the whole thing.
Through the whole thing. After I hit the wall and everything else. My son was there to make sure that I was okay. Then they got me to the hospital, and mom drops me off, puts me in a wheelchair, pushes me up to the receptionist, and she goes off to park the car, and I'm standing there. I'm sitting in the wheelchair, and the lady's like, here, sign this paper. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? And she's like, what? I'm like, I'm having a stroke. I can't move my arm. And she's like, what? And then, of course, then your mother comes in, and Mother Bear takes over. And she starts to just ripping ass to all these people. And so all of a sudden, like all these people come out of from out of the back, and I get thrown on a gurney. I get taken back in. All this wires get stuck up and stuff like that. I flatline and bring me back. And then I'm sitting there, and like then all of a sudden, it was like I'm fine. I mean, like I'm fine. And they're like, you can't, you can't be moving. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm back online. Everything's good. And so finally,
I've been healed.
So they put me up in this room, and they put me on this bed that has this freaking monitor that as soon as you move, it alerts the nurses, and they come running in. And so, like, me, I can't sit.
Yeah.
So
nurses are coming in every like 5 seconds.
You can't. If you get up out of bed, you have to call us. I was like, look, I'm getting up out of bed. I'm 50. Well, I was 52 at the time. I'm like, I'm 52 years old. I said, I'm not calling you to take a piss. I'm not calling you to get it. Like, I'm a man. I'm going to do what I want to do. And she was like, finally, she was like, you promise if you have, I said, as soon as I have a problem, I'll give you a call. I said, and so then, everybody's coming in. I'm up for days. I mean, like, your mother it was the first time that I really saw your mother worried.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, Stoke Tracy is, but I could see it, and she was scared.
I've only seen her worry once, and that's when I got the stitches here.
Oh my God, that was unbelievable.
We'll go into that after this.
But so I was in there like 48 hours, 72 hours, 72 hours. And then they released me. I don't know, but it was
I just know the house was quiet for a little bit.
Yeah. So I was in the I was up walking around, and the cardiologist that was supposed to see me, I don't know, some lady, I don't even know her name. But anyways, she walks in, and I'm standing there, and she's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And she walks over to the bed and pulls the curtain back, and she's like, "Where's the patient?" I'm like, "I'm the patient." She goes, "You're not supposed to be up out of bed." I'm like, "Well, I'm up out of bed." And she goes, "No, not that you're not allowed to be." She goes, "Like, I looked at your MRI. You shouldn't have been up out of bed. Like, I was surprised that your wife wasn't feeding you through with a spoon." And I'm like, "Well, that ain't happening. I'm perfectly fine." And so, I mean, nothing since. I mean,
the Duffy healing factor.
Yeah. What's that?
Deadpool.
Yeah. What's he have?
He has healing factor.
Oh, okay.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
They both can heal really fast.
Yeah. So that was it. And then, in that year, also I became the head coach at Citadel after being the assistant head coach for a couple of years. Well, when I came back from being the head coach at Wheeling Jesuit University.
Yep.
Which was
Wheeling Jesuit. No, Wheeling University now.
It's now Wheeling, but when I was there coaching, it was Wheeling Jesuit University. So, but yeah, that was an interesting ass time.
It was. Son dropped out of college trying to figure out what to do. He's back home causing chaos. You have a stroke, and then Ashley starts.
I had the stroke because of him.
Probably. I mean, can't blame your gray hairs on me.
No, because I don't have any hair.
Exactly. You had a stroke. Ashley, our dog, was starting to have seizures, so I started calling her Twitchy and you Strokey. But yeah, the only time I've seen Mom like absolutely stressed, not stressed, like scared, worried, whatever adjective goes along with that, was when we first moved down here. It was like Labor Day. I was a young shithead kid, and someone decided to drink beer and bottle it up, recap it, and bury it in the sand where it was.
They only buried it like an inch or two, so all the hot sun. They drank like half the beer.
Yeah.
So then they recapped it, which caused all that back pressure.
Yeah. It pressurized, then me digging it up. I'm like, oh, I want to tap two glasses together.
Yeah.
I did it. It exploded. A giant chunk of glass went in my face and up my arm.
Yeah, but you had little shards everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it actually scared the fuck out of me because you came down to the ocean's edge, and I was in the water, and you're standing there, and you're like, Dad, and I look over, and you're a fucking bloody mess, and I'm like, holy shit, what the hell happened? I come running out, and your mom like runs over, grabs you, and it's like I went and got the car, pulled the car up. Matter of fact, I pulled it onto the beach.
Yeah, I remember. I'm. It's still like a little bit of a daze. I remember like I just heard a pop, and then I saw you, and then I was laying on the beach, and like I guess people were trying to do first aid, trying to get my face closed up. Then we went to doctor's care, and while I was getting 5 stitches, Mom was reading different Pokemon from the Pokemon book.
That's right.
I think it was like 5th gen at the time. Trying to remember, but yeah, that's how we started when we moved to South Carolina.
Yeah.
We didn't even have the health insurance didn't transfer over yet, and I was sent to the hospital.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because we hadn't started work yet.
Nope.
Or no, we just started.
It's either
because it was Labor Day. We were in school for a week, and then Labor Day came, and we were all down at Folly Beach. Yeah, God, that was absolutely incredible. That was just nuts.
I seemed
Who was with us?
Heath. It was the Bakers.
That's right. It was the Bakers.
Yep.
Yep.
The good old Bakers.
Yep.
But throughout your life, you grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia.
So, yeah, I did.
I don't know how many people have heard of Wheeling, but I don't think the city council of Wheeling is going to hear this. So, what's your opinion on Wheeling, West Virginia?
I honestly, it was a great place to grow up. I mean, I loved growing up. I loved being with my cousins in Wheeling. And coming from a huge family, and not that my immediate family was huge, but my dad had a shit ton of brothers, and they in return had a shit ton of kids, and I have a shit ton of first cousins, and I have a whole slew of them. We're all boys around the same age, and we all grew up together. Like Jake, Mike, Ed,
Terry.
Well, Terry's older.
Okay.
But Sean. But me, Mike, Jake, and Ed were all, we got the reputation as the Duffy boys. Mm-hmm. And and it was just ornery, mischievous shit growing up that was absolutely. And it started, I mean, and think about it, it started because of my uncles, and my dad, because they were just as bad, And I remember, we were all at my Uncle Ray's house, Uncle Grizz. And and we were probably 5, 6 years old or something like that. Anyways, he lived on 14th Street in downtown Wheeling, and some old brownstone that was built before the Civil War. Excuse me. And he rigged these series of ghosts up into the basement, and he put them on a fishing line, and he just put a stick with a ghost face on a sheet, and he had them laying on the ground, and he had them rigged that they all went up to the door of the basement, up the stairs to the door of the basement. And me, Mike, Jake, Ed, and Ed's half brother, Jimmy, was all there. And poor Mike, God, he took the blunt. So we're walking down, and it's like a catacombs in the basement. No lights are on. And he had certain lights that would hit, and when it came on, he pulled the one sheet up, and I remember grabbing Eddie and throwing Eddie into the wall and taking off running. And Eddie's grabbing my pants because I'm ahead of him, and he's trying to pull me back. And Mike's ahead of me, and Mike's running up the steps, and I sweep Mike's foot, and Mike falls face first on the steps, and me, Eddie, Jimmy, and Jake just run over top of him. I mean, just run him into the steps. And we get to, right to the top of the steps, and he pulls another one. So then we all stop, scream, jump, and we fall ass over tin cups back down the steps. And now we're sitting there just crying. And there's Uncle Grizz, Uncle Mick, Pap, Uncle Larry, and they're all at the top of the steps laughing their asses off. They're like, oh, this is funny. And we're like, just terrified. So like that's the stupid shit that we did. You know, it just carried out. And then like they would. I come from a family of hunter and fishermen, and they hunt and fish all the time. And we would go and fish at night on the banks of the Iowa River. Well, we were little, and all we'd fish for 5 minutes. And we wanted to throw rocks into the river. And my grandpa, who had about zero patience, he was always like, "Oh, you goddamn kids, throwing rocks, you're gonna scare all the fish away." Blah blah blah. So they came up with this thing. It was called the River Mook. And the River Mook was this fictional character that if you got too far away from it was scared of adults, but it loved to eat children.
Yeah.
And so we would sit there and we would go find rocks and throw, and all of a sudden my Uncle Pat would make like this noise, and my Uncle Larry made, "Oh, did you hear that? That's a River Mook. That's the River Mook." We'd all like start crying and run back, and so we kept telling them, like, this isn't, it, we, a couple years older, we're like, it ain't real, you're making it up. So where we would go to fish for the night, Uncle Grizz would go during that day, and he would put tiny little red reflectors in bushes, like eyes.
Yeah.
And so we'd start, and he would flash the flashlight, and he'd go, "Get back here." We're like, "Oh yeah," and he'd look and flash it up, and the red reflectors would catch it, and my Uncle Pat would make the River Mook noise, and he goes, "There it is," and we would freaking scream and run, and that was the way to keep us like,
in control.
And then we would get rambunctious and start fighting at family functions and stuff like that at night, and then Uncle Pat would always make us go on snipe hunts.
The infamous snipe.
Oh, and we're sitting there, and he's like, "They're so fast." He goes, here's one, and he'd take a paper bag, and he'd snap the paper bag and make it sound like something landed in the bag, and he'd roll it up real quick, and be like, "You can't let it out." And then, of course, like you're 6, you're like, "Fuck, I gotta see this thing." And he'd open it up, and then there's nothing in there. He's like, "You let it out. You let it out." So we would run around the yard for like 3 hours, making bets with each other who would catch the first snipe. And we would do this like until we were like 10, and then one of our older cousins, like Terry, would go like, "You guys are just idiots. You're absolute idiots." We're like, no, you understand. The snipe's real. It's real. So I think this is what you're wanting me to lead into, is the infamous big boy story.
Oh yeah, I was waiting. There's a few stories I want you to say. One of them, the big boy story. The other one, Explosion Hill.
Explosion Hill.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
The one where you and your cousins packed the hill with explosive stuff while...
Oh, with Grandpa. Yeah. Okay. That wasn't. Yeah, it was kind of a hill. It was in a tunnel under a hill that we did that. But anyhow, which one you want me to do first?
Do the big boy story. We led with that. We can go back.
Well, that was older. That was a college story. And so my cousin Eddie was in Marshall University, and we used these stupid tapes. We would just like play rock songs, and we would drink and sing and do all this shit. And we called them the Texas tapes from hell. And so one of these times that Ed like, "You know what I want in my room? I want the big boy." I'm like, "Where the fuck are you going to get a big boy?" He was like, "We'll just steal it."
For everyone my age, Big Boy is an old burger chain. It was in the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
It was Dr. Evil's spaceship.
Yeah.
Besides that, if you're younger and still don't understand, look it the fuck up. It's on Google.
We were in our areas. It was Elby's, but there was the chain was Big Boy, and then there were like down in the South, I think it was Shoney's Big Boy. There was just but anyways, it was kind of a fat kid with holding a hamburger up with a checkered overalls on, red and white checkered overalls on. But anyway, Eddie wanted this for his dorm room at Marshall University, and actually all he wanted was the arm.
Yeah,
that was holding up the burger, because he's like that make the coolest, like, stupid stuff you think about when you're in college.
Be a sweet coat rack.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sweet coat rack. I got a friend who's a taxidermist, and we'll put it on there. And so we decided we weren't going to do it in West Virginia. We were going to drive over the Iowa River into Martins Ferry, Ohio, to the Big Boy on Route 7. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. We shouldn't have been driving. And I had my Bronco, my 1980 Bronco. And it's probably like 1990 maybe. And that thing was jacked up. I mean, it was a pure hillbilly ride. And so our stupid drunk calculations thought we could knock the statue down and put it in the back of the Bronco and go home. So I pull up behind the Big Boy on the railroad tracks, and it's like the Ohio River, the railroad tracks, and then the restaurant, the parking lot of the restaurant. So we decided we're going to get in front and on the sides and flank it. So there are 4 of us on each, the front, the back, the side, and the side. And we were going to take turns hitting it. And, because it was fiberglass, we figured we could just knock it off its pillar at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's me behind it, Jake's in front of it, Eddie's on one side, Mike's on the other, and then we have a couple friends that are there. And so I said, okay, I'll run, I'll hit it, then you run and you hit it, then Mike, you'll hit it, and then Eddie, you'll hit it. And we'll do it in sequence like that. Well, I take off running. I'm getting ready to hit it from behind, and I look, and there's Jake 2 steps from the Big Boy. I hit the Big Boy. It goes over. It smacks Jake in the head. Jake's knocked out, hits the ground. So all I hear is fuck it. Pull him out. Somebody else jump in. So another person. So finally, after about 15 hits apiece, we finally break it off its pedestal. And so we're carrying it back, and I'm like, this ain't going to fit the Bronco. And Ed's like, I'll just tie it to the top of your Bronco. And I'm like, yeah, Ed, I'm going to drive on Interstate 70 at 3:30 in the morning with a fucking statue on the top of the Bronco strapped down. That's not going to call any attention. There's no traffic there whatsoever. The only traffic that's on there would be one car going to a hospital or a state trooper. I said, no. And so then we're like, let's just throw it in the river. We'll go down and get it out. We'll pull it out of the dam. And everybody's like, yeah, that's a damn good idea. So toss it in the river. I go home. It's me, Jake, and Ed sleeping in the. Ed went home, and we all lived within houses of each other.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I get this nagging pain in the top of my head as I fall out of bed. Well, actually, I get drug out of bed because your pap comes in, grabs me by the top of the hair, yanks me out of the bed, drags me down the steps, puts me in front of the TV, and he goes, is that your handiwork? And I'm like, I can't figure out what the hell's going on. I can't get my eyes open. I look at the TV, and there's the fucking Big Boy on the news live at the dam, bouncing up and down in the water. $10,000 reward for whoever did this vandalism, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, Dad, it's not. And he's like, don't lie to me. I know, boy, that's yours. And then I just start laughing. So for years, everybody wanted it. Everybody thought it was us, but nobody could prove it. And we never said a word.
Until now.
Well, actually, when I was home at Wheeling, I was Novotny, one of my friends. He had a radio station, and I'd go in and talk sports talk with him because I was the coach at Wheeling Jesuit. And he would ask me live on the air, and I'd be like, "No, that wasn't us." He'd, "Come on, Duff, I know it's you." I'm like, "No, it's not." And then someone said, calls up and says, "Hey, there's no statute. The statute of limitations is up. If you even confess to it, there's nothing we can do." And I went, "It was fucking us." Well, I didn't say fucking, but I said, "It was us." And the phone lines lit up. I knew it was you guys. Son of a bitch, I knew it was you.
You probably made Novotny's day.
Oh, and he was like, "I knew it. I knew it." He goes, "I knew it. As soon as somebody said it was the Duffys, I knew it was you guys." He goes, "I just had a gut feeling." And that story went on from like 90 until 2017. I mean, like 27 years?
About that.
Yeah, 90 to 2000, 2000 to 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I always love dad lore stories. It's like dad lore. Like when you're growing up,
Yeah.
your dad will not tell you like whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like as you get older, you start to hear bits and pieces.
Dude, when you were a kid, you would have thought that I was a saint.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I never wanted you to know any stupid shit.
Around what grade did you start?
Because of the fact that I was watching you, and you were like more extreme at doing stupid shit than I was. So I wasn't going to incentivize you one bit. But the exploding hill, as you so eloquently put it, was there was Chicken Neck Hill, and under Chicken Neck Hill ran a stream, and as a kid we would all go up and play in the tunnel, and which we were never allowed to play in the tunnel. Of course, we played in the tunnel, and
as kids do.
So we had this great idea that we were going to go ahead and because no one could see us, we were going to take gasoline, kerosene, gunpowder, turpentine, like a whole bunch of like flammable shit, and put them in a big like coffee can. I can't remember. It wasn't Folgers, but it was a big blue
Maxwell's, maybe.
Maxwell. Yeah, that's what it was. Maxwell House. And so we filled it all up. And my cousin, or my one friend, Mike Helford, decided he was going to fill his own up. So he came in. I came in. I was facing one way. He was facing the other. And not knowing anything about catching shit on fire anyhow, we decided we were going to bring an entire, like, just line that we could catch on fire, but we put the cans out towards our escape routes and not thinking about this thing. So we lit it, boom, boom, it goes up. Now, of course, we're on this, the whole thing exploded. So all of the gasoline, kerosene covered the walls. It was just a wall of fire on both sides. We were scared shitless. But so like everybody else that was driving on Chicken Neck Hill, just black smoke's rolling up over top of the hill. So now the fire department comes. And so the hose hits, you know, the water's down and everything. And there's my cousin Pat. He's like, "What in the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh." And he walked in and grabbed me and took me. And, it was in my neighborhood, so he took me to the house. But, yeah, that was a scary-ass time there, too. And it was funny as shit because I just remember this pyrotechnic thing and this thing just going sideways so fast.
That's usually what happens. I like from your stories and then like the dumb stuff I would get into, I could never do that because I lived in the age of technology and you can't do anything without a phone coming out within 5 seconds.
Oh shit! I'm so glad. I would never be where I'm at if there was a phone.
Yeah.
If there was a cell phone when I was younger, all the way up through college, I'd have never made it.
The closest I have, like the wildest thing that I've done is it took me, I want to say about 3 or 4 years after I told you when it happened. It was like my 16th birthday. Me, Kyle, Caleb, Jack, and I think David was there.
David who?
Siegel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we decided to go play airsoft at midnight. We have this little area called the Hills where there's bike paths and like little things you could jump. We would always go play airsoft there during the day. So it was about like twilight hours, and we were out playing airsoft. Oh, Jake was also there.
But what did I tell you? Every time you went to play that thing, I said, if please show up,
throw it. So we're playing at midnight. There's like this lady walks by, and she yells at us. She's like, "Don't shoot at the trees." All right, man, we won't shoot at the trees. We're just shooting at each other. And then we go off and play again. We have our little teams. Whoever gets shot gets out. We're playing for about like 30 minutes later, and it's about night. I'm there holding a SCAR assault rifle looking thing, and there's cop lights that come out, and I'm like right in the middle of the field, and I have the gun in my hand. I see the lights come out. The cop busts out of the door, pulls his gun, aims it at my head. I'm 16. This is my birthday, and I immediately throw it down. And he's like, "What's going on here? I heard kids are shooting each other with guns out here." I'm like, "We're just playing airsoft. We're just playing airsoft. Everyone come out." And like little like kids are coming out of the trees. And then Jake comes out with a black t-shirt wrapped up like a ninja, and he's running around shirtless. The cop like holsters his gun. He's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" I'm like, "Sir, it's my birthday." He's like, "Did you really think it was a great idea to play airsoft at midnight?" I'm like, "No, sir." He's like, "Go the fuck home. I don't feel like dealing with this." So we go home, and of course we're 16-year-old shitheads. We found this elegant little website that has been banned and taken off nowadays called backpages.com. If you know about it, you know that it's a premier website to order ladies of the night. So we get on there and we call a pimp.
Was this from our house?
Yes. We call a pimp. And I'm on the phone. He's like, "Hey, what you want? What kind of girls you want?" And me, just being me, I'm like, "Have you seen the movie Soul Surfer? Are you trying to threaten me?" "No, it's a really like good movie. It's really inspiring. You should watch it sometime." And it would hang up, and then we'd call about 5 other ones, and the shtick ran. Bored. We got bored of that, calling like 5 different pimps.
Does your mother know about this?
She knows about the first part, but not the pimps part. "Hi, Mom. I called him a pimp when I was 16. I hope you're proud of me." But like that's the only time besides like minor trespassing and still the place where we live, when they're building those other houses back there, me and Kyle would go back in the little forest where we had the treehouse. We got nailed trespassing a few times. Never got caught.
I remember you guys had the treehouse. I never saw the treehouse.
Yeah, we had the treehouse.
I remember you always like coming home getting shit for the treehouse.
Yeah, whatever like people would throw out wood or whatever from the house, some scrap wood, we would go up there and screw in the treehouse and make a base. But we were like looking for like down branches and stuff one day, and we're at like the far side. Then we hear like cracking, like of branches and sticks, and we look back and we see there's about like 3 cops, and they're looking at us, starting to run. So me, Kyle, and Caleb just take off because we know the woods better than these dumb adults. So we hightail it out there, then we just like go home and go up to the garage. And I think we were playing like Mortal Kombat at the time. Like, nope, nothing happened. We're all good. And, like,
see, that's a good. I mean, like that's what I loved about when I grew up, because like we would literally get up in the morning and go, and like the rule of the day was that you had to eat breakfast and you had to be home for dinner. Now. There was like 9 churches within 3 miles of where we all lived.
Yeah.
So at 5 o'clock, the church bells would go. Oh, so you couldn't be anywhere without hearing church bells. There was no excuse.
Yeah.
So you had to be home. And if you didn't come home, a parent came looking for you.
Yeah.
And then you just got your ass strapped until you got home.
Yeah, they didn't even have street lights when you were growing up. They still had the hand-lit and oil lights. Just right, it's right after the time the wheel was invented.
Right after?
Right around the time. Never said before or after.
Oh, I can't wait till you fucking do stand-up comedy. I am going to fucking razz your ass so
Oh, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with crowd work.
But, yeah, I mean, we would just be going. And I remember, like, getting up as a kid and, like, getting up at 5. Like, my parents had to change the rule because I'd get up and go. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd get up and pour a bowl of cereal, and that's breakfast, and I'm out the door. And so it had to be, the sun had to be up, and you were allowed outside. Yeah, I can remember, like, I never wanted to be inside, ever. You know, as a kid, I remember my mom coming out screaming at me. It was pouring down rain. It was like July. She's like, "Get inside, it's raining." I'm like, it's like, I get wet when I'm in a pool. I don't want to be in the house. You know, you couldn't get me in the house when I was a kid. And the great thing was the wood. I mean, we had woods everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were constantly in the woods. We were we had the woods, and then we had Big Wheeling Creek. So like whatever, we were either playing in the woods or we were fishing on the creek, and that was growing up. And then of course when we got older, we got into other shit. But as a kid, it was just riding your bike, and then we had lots. And there was a lot behind my house. It was called Pavlik's Lot because the owners of the lot their last name was Pavlik. But that was our sports field. we played tackle football there. We would play, and we actually had a legitimate baseball diamond. I mean, that's why you would make fun of me because I constantly watched The Sandlot. But that's my memories of a kid. That movie, we would literally play wiffle ball. We started to play baseball there, but then all of a sudden somebody hit the house with a baseball that was way down the other side. So we played wiffle ball. But I mean, we would literally play from sun up to sundown, and then of course I grew up close to Wheeling Jesuit University. So over there,
what I know, growing up near Wheeling Jesuit, there was a certain football team that used to do spring practices there.
No, Wheeling Jesuit was West Lib.
West Lib, yeah. Okay, one of those two.
But so at the baseball, there was the recreation field. So there was basketball courts over there, and right next to Wheeling Jesuit, and then there was baseball fields. And so our baseball coach, who was Mr. Jerome, would just get up in the morning, go to work. He'd leave all the baseball equipment out by his garage. We would literally pick up all the equipment, walk over to the field, and we had full on baseball games. And the other community next to us was Demi Dale. They would come down, and we would play 9 innings, and we would have 10, 11 kids on a side, and we would play full-out baseball. And there was an old retired postman who was also a recreation ump, for the rec league. And so he was already retired. He had nothing to do. He would come over and ump the games. We would play all day long. Mm-hmm. And then we would go swimming in Kurt Jerome's swimming pool after it was over with. And then it was great. And then we would start camping. We'd spend our summer nights. I think it was once or twice a week during the summer. We'd go and camp in the woods, and just literally take a can of beans and franks, hot dogs, marshmallows. That was it. We would just have fun, and someone would catch a fish and bring a fish up, and we'd cook it. Didn't know what the fuck to do with it. At that time, we just put the fish on guts and all, and we're eating it. Oh my God, this thing's horrible. And then we figured out we had to gut it, and then the fish started tasting better. So
yeah, I've grown up with your stories throughout my childhood. I have. You've told the same story 5 different times, and each time I loved it.
I know, but it was funny because half the time I wasn't telling you.
Yeah.
Half the time I was drinking, telling friends,
and I was just always there,
just sitting there,
always listening. Going back to Uncle Mick being the dean of discipline, I remember one story you told me of
the Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, Uncle Mick has always, from how Dad describes Uncle Mick and Dad describes my grandfather, Pappy Duff, they are some of the nicest people that I've met.
They are. They're sweethearts. Now they are.
Yeah, now they are. I've heard
they were. Yeah, especially your Uncle Mick could. I mean, like I said before, he was a rattlesnake. He was just mean, and during school, what everybody has in school or had in school was called detention.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more prevalent. After school detention was more prevalent when I was growing up than I don't think now. I mean, I run discipline at Camp Road Middle School, and we do lunch detention because parents can't be inconvenienced anymore. So you would have, but ours we didn't get. It wasn't called detention. It was called JUG, Justice Under God, and so me and my cousins, when we would screw up in school, we where everybody else would just get detention, we got cracked in detention.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worse. But so growing up, my grandfather was like, to be a Catholic priest, you must go through one of the orders: Franciscan, Jesuit, diocesan, or not diocesan, but Franciscan, Jesuit, any of those. And in the 60s, you could then go just through the diocese and become a priest. Well, he called them hippie priests. People that were, dodging the draft. And so, like, that's all I heard about was hippie priests. And, like, I had no respect for hippie priests. And then we had one priest. We had priests, that taught us in school, and we had nuns that taught us in school. And Zenaida was a diocesan priest that wore Birkenstock sandals. And so he's late for class, and well over 5 minutes late. So of course, everybody's talking in class, and he walks in and he's like, Jimmy, David, Mike, Tommy, and everybody's still talking. So I put my hand up. I'm like, Father, now that everybody knows everybody, you think we can start class? And it was just like, in my mind, I thought it was funny, an icebreaker. We could get back. Everybody was chuckling, and he got pissed. Anyhow.
Your harsh is mellow.
Yeah. So, you think you're funny, Mr. Duffy? You're a comedian. No, I'm not. I'm not that funny. No, you're real funny. Matter of fact, you ought to take your stand-up to Vegas. Now he's starting to piss me off. And, blah, blah, blah. It keeps going on a little bit more. He said, matter of fact, why don't you just come up here? He goes, and regale the class with your comedic talent. And I'm like, I'm not that funny. He goes, no, you're a comedian. I was like, no, I'm not a comedian. He goes, no, you're a comedian. I'm like, no, I'm not a comedian. He goes, yes, you are a comedian. I said, maybe I'm a comedian. I said, but you, judging from your sandals, you think you're Jesus Christ. Now, in my head, all my buddies were laughing their ass off. I was getting high-fived. Everybody was like, this is great, blah, blah, blah. The class went silent.
Your first bomb as a stand-up comedian.
Bomb. And people were moving away from me in their desk. And I'm like, man, you fucked up. And so he leaves class, walks down the hallway, and I hear Uncle Mick scream, he said what? I'm like, oh my God, no. I got this pit in my stomach. And he comes running in the classroom. And he didn't come down the aisle. He just went straight as a diagonal through desks and grabbed me by the tie. And he turned around and started running, which the desk now flips on the ground. And I'm trying to kick out of the desk because I know there's a little aluminum strip by the door. And if the desk is sliding, it's going to flip. Possibly, in my mind, it's going to flip and break my neck. So I finally kick out the desk. I still can't get to my feet. He's dragging me down the hallway. We had two nuns that were guidance counselors. They're standing by his office, and they're like, Mickey, you need to relax a little bit. And he's like, get the hell out of my way. This is a family matter. Shuts the door, puts me in front of his desk, pulls the blinds, and he starts screaming at me. There's been a Duffy at Wheeling Central Catholic since 1907. This is the bullshit you pull, blah, blah, blah. And I just see the vein in the middle of his head just start to like branch out like a big tree. I'm like, I am getting my ass kicked. And he flips the desk. It hits me. He starts punching me. Makes me call my dad. Dad's like, now, back up. Dad worked in the mine. Mm-hmm. For Dad to come out of the mine, he lost a day's pay. Dad came out, for whatever reason, he was pissed. So Dad's like, your ass better be home before I get home. And I'm like, well, I'm doing the math in my head going, well, he's 25 minutes from work. I'm 10 minutes from home. I can get there before he can, and I can buy some time by locking myself in my room. I get home, he's on the fucking front porch with a belt. I get my ass whooped. all week. Not by him. Grandma is going to St. Mike's lighting candles for my soul. Grandpap dumps me. So we go to Mass, and we're all at Mass. And then we go to Grandma and Grandpap Duffy's afterwards. And so we're eating dinner, and Grandpap's pissed. Grandpap swipes me. All my older cousins who don't give a shit about what I did anyhow, but just because of a pecking order in the family, they're taking swipes at me. All my uncles, shit. That was like a week-long of beatings. And that was the end of that one. But yeah, that was You Think You're Jesus Christ.
So that ended your stand-up career?
That ended my stand-up career. I decided I was better at sports than I was being funny.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, let's just say my payout wasn't great.
Yeah, you didn't seem like the road type of person.
No.
But, yeah, all those stories and growing up, what was... Have you always wanted kids?
Yeah.
Because you got two of them, you're stuck with them now.
And I'm going to be really serious. Pap and Mama Sally, they divorced when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
So, and going back and forth, and to me, it wasn't cool. I watched all my uncles that were still together. Those families were stayed together. And, I didn't like the idea. And plus for the fact that when they divorced, my mother took me from Wheeling to Blair, Ohio, which, if Youngstown, Ohio is the armpit of Ohio, Blair's the asshole of Ohio. And I spent my entire time, Dad said I had to go to St. John's, which was the Catholic school there. And there it was fight after fight after fight until I got expelled.
Yeah.
And then I went to First Ward. But I didn't like Blair, and I didn't like being I grew up in a neighborhood that all my cousins were there. My entire life was just Duffy's.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't know that the entire world was other than Irish until I was probably 8 years old. And then I met Kurt Jerome, and his mother was Italian, and I couldn't figure out what the hell that was. But I liked it. She had damn good food.
Yeah. That's why you married an Italian.
Yeah. But I've always, I always wanted to be married, and I couldn't wait to have kids. And you were difficult. And I don't mean difficult. I mean, you were a boy. You were all boy.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Your sister came along, and she was easy because she was a girl.
Yeah.
You were into everything. And I mean, you were a boy that was into everything. Whatever you could throw at, you were throwing stuff at. Whatever you could poke with a stick, you were poking with a stick.
Climbing.
Jumping, climbing. I mean, besides, you had scars from hitting your face on the windowsill. I mean,
I had a scar from the Burger King Funhouse.
Yeah, you weren't a gentle kid, and but you were physically hard. You were never difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mentally. I mean, you were always a good kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you were ornery as shit, and you did things, but you didn't do things maliciously. You know what I mean? I see a lot of kids that do shit maliciously.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't that kid. You were ornery as hell. You were a Duffy. But I wanted to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, I wanted 6.
Oh, shit.
And your mother was like, we're having 2. I was like, well, how about 4? She goes, I don't give a shit how you have the other 2. We're having 2. You can have 4. You can have 6. You figure out how to come up with them. If you can get pregnant and have the other 4, more power to you.
I couldn't imagine 4 more siblings.
No, I mean, you and your sister were enough.
You learned that after Marin.
You were enough. But your sister was easy because, your sister's your sister. I mean, you know how she is.
Mm-hmm.
But when she hit her teenage years, the goddamn drama. Just the drama. I love her, but there was drama. And so, like, you weren't drama. She was drama. You were physical. You were into everything. She wasn't physical and into anything. So there was a trade-off.
Yeah.
You know. But no, I haven't. If I, one of my greatest wishes, and it'll never ever happen, is I always wish that I could have you guys go back in time. You know, one of the hardest realities for me being a dad was that little boy that you were.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, it to me, I mean, I'm sure it was a part of, progressive time. But it was like one day, you were sitting up on my lap. We were watching, one of the first Marvel movies. And then you were too big to be on my lap. You didn't want to be on my lap. You didn't want to hug me anymore. And, you didn't want to do it. And that was a hard reality for me. And it was just, and it seemed like the time when you were 5 to the time you were like 11, nothing, you just got a little bigger, but then like 13 hit, and each year you got bigger, your personality developed more, you became, you were no longer a boy, you were walking towards becoming a man, and that was the hardest thing for me to let go.
Yeah.
And it was, looking back, when I was in that position, and I was growing up that way, and I was doing the same thing that you were doing, and my dad was doing the same thing that I did with, going through the same issue, the same heartbreak of just letting go. Mm-hmm. It's the hard, but you got to let your kid go. Like, I can't stand helicopter parents. I can't stand helicopter parents, and you got to let your kid navigate and figure things out, and you got to let your kid fail. And as a parent, that's unbelievably difficult. Like I used to, Dad and I would have just argument, it's not that big of a deal. Like, so what, I failed. But Dad was like, okay, I tried to talk to you about preventing it. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing I could do to help you out. That's as a dad, you don't want there's nothing worse than feeling helpless.
Yeah.
And that was feeling helpless. Like, I give a shit less watching anybody else fail. I mean, I really don't care. I mean, you know me by now. Like,
I would hope.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not the easiest person to get along with, and I sure as shit don't like that many people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I think humanity's a clusterfuck of idiots. But you guys were what I didn't want to have all that happen. I wanted you guys, and it was hard. It was difficult to watch you fail, but I had to let you fail. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I think that, granted, I was a great father and I wasn't a good father. And there was times that I was really good at being a dad. And there was times that I sucked miserably at being a dad.
I also threw you for a loop most of
your
life. Yeah. I was never predictable.
No. And that's good.
Yeah.
Because all those things that frustrated the piss out of me now are the things that I love about you now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're your own man. You do your own thing. Like, you don't follow trends. You don't, like, one of the greatest things that you listen to music that you like. It's not trendy. It's not, you were your own person. You like your own things. Mm-hmm. You do your own things, and you don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks. You're going to do it. Like, I kid you all the time about your nerd shit on D&D.
But I want to be a wizard, Dad.
I know. but it's your thing. Mm-hmm. I don't fucking understand technology. I don't want to understand technology. I fucking hate technology. You're good at it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that, but it's made you who you are, and you have the ability now, I think, that you know what you want in life and you know how to go for it. And you've got the one thing, you've got your mother's big heart. I mean, you do.
Yeah.
You still have my temper, but you don't have my temper as explosive. It takes a little bit more to get you pissed than it takes to get me pissed. Mm-hmm. Even at 55, even though I think I've mellowed.
You have a lot
since I was in my 30s. But it's just one of those things that, I always said this. You were a better man at 20 than I was at 51.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of you. And I love everything that you do and everything you stand for. And I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
And that's one of the, I guess, that's, as a dad, that's one of the things. I got 2 kids that are going out into this world that are good people.
Mm-hmm.
When I die, I don't take shit with me. I don't take money. I don't take anything else. All I think that I'll take is my memories and the life that I lived. And knowing that I put 2 kids in this world that are going to be fucking great human beings, I couldn't be happier, So that's enough of the mushy shit.
But as like a child, you did give me the worst companion to like do like just not evil shit with, but like little kid shit. You gave me Guinness.
Oh God.
Guinness was the first chocolate lab that I owned, and he was
You didn't own him.
He was my dog.
But you didn't own him.
I grew up with him.
Yeah. It was more your brother than you owned him.
Yeah. He, like, Guinness, we lost him when we first moved down here. He ended up eating his bed and his bowels twisted, but he was, like, the best first dog I could get. Y'all got him, like, 3 months before I was born.
We got him 6 months before you were born. Got him in a farm in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. He was, like, I have my dog now, Fenrir, which is
reminds me so much of Guinness.
They both are English labs, big blocky head,
yep.
Just like fun loving, just goofy dogs. But Guinness, like I always pat around with when I was young, like he was my best friend. I would run around, get into some shit. You said multiple times I would chew his bone, give it to him.
You two would chew the same fucking bone. Unbelievable. You were like a toddler just learning to crawl, and I'd walk into the room, and you and Guinness would be laying on the ground, gnawing on opposite ends of the bone. That was unbelievable. And then you shit with the dog.
Oh God!
You don't?
I didn't know that.
I'm at football practice, all right, and we're in our house in Dillonville, and your mother calls me. She goes, "You're not gonna believe your son." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "He shit with the dog," and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "He shit with the dog,"
I didn't.
And I'm like, I don't understand. And she goes, "Tommy, I sent Guinness out. I asked Liam if he had to poop. Liam said yes. I went in. Liam strips his diaper off, runs right out the door behind Guinness. Guinness is walking around walking a circle, getting his game face on. And I look out, and there's Liam with his arm around Guinness, and they're both shitting by the tree. And you were proud as hell of that shit. You were like, I shit, or you didn't say you shit. You're like, I pooped, Mommy.
Oh,
she's like,
God.
Yeah, you pooped.
I need a mom in here also. I doubt I'll get mom on this podcast at all.
Your mom will never come on this podcast.
Not after the first 30 seconds of this one.
No, she would have walked out.
Yeah.
She'd have been like, that's enough. I'm done. Goodbye. You guys say boy stuff. Go talk about boy stuff. I'm out of here. She's turning into Alma.
I know.
I mean, she is so much Alma. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's a great thing because I love Alma. But
it's funny.
It is funny.
It
Characteristics, mannerisms, everything. She's just becoming Irma's mini-me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Guinness, I remember growing up, y'all got me Hulk gloves one year. The little like foam.
When we were at our house in Adena.
I thought it was Mount Pleasant.
Oh, Mount Pleasant, yeah.
Yeah.
In Mount Pleasant, you're right.
You got me Hulk gloves, and that was probably the worst gift you could get me.
No, I thought it was awesome.
It was
Mom wasn't happy.
Yeah, Mom wasn't happy.
I thought it was a great gift at first.
I would run around, and I would just punch everything with it.
Everything.
Yes. I've always...
Including adult men in the marbles.
Yes. Hulk smash.
Yeah.
And like the three gifts that always like stuck out to me as a kid were the Hulk gloves, the Harry Potter broomstick, the Nimbus 9000, and then moon shoes.
Oh my God, I forgot about moon shoes.
Everyone did.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Those are the three that always stick out to me. That I was like, these were my favorite childhood toys. Even there was like a whole bunch like not Power Rangers. What was it like Rescue Rangers? Rescue Rangers.
I think.
I
think.
Let me look this up real quick.
Rescue. Because I got the one from New York firefighters. Remember I went to New York?
Yeah. Now Rescue Rangers is Chippendale. I'll look it up.
Fisher Price is what it was. Fisher Price Rescue, and then Google should fill it in.
Rescue Heroes? Yes, it was Rescue Heroes.
Yeah, that was it.
It was Mattel. Mattel.
Was
Fisher,
it Mattel?
Mattel Fisher Price.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rescue Heroes. Like I had those. I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys.
Matchbox cars.
Yeah, I had a lot of Matchbox cars. And besides that, it was just like game consoles. Y'all didn't give me my first game console. Brandon Jonathan left me the PlayStation 1. You hated it.
I hate you. Do you think I like them now?
No, I feel like you like them a little bit now.
I care less about fucking video games.
No, but like growing up, besides the video game thing, you would always like one thing that always stuck out, and I think has like wired me into loving fantasy is we would spend hours just watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yeah. It would be like we would have marathons, we would set it up, we would always spend a day just watching every Lord of the Rings.
Man, you know what's funny is I watched them all yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, because they were on Paramount.
Yeah,
and I will watch Lord of the Rings It was the first major book I read as a kid. Mm-hmm. It was The Hobbit, but then from The Hobbit, I read them all.
Yeah,
and I love Tolkien.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it makes sense why you like fantasy stuff now.
Yeah. It'd be Lord of the Rings with you, and then Harry Potter and Chronicles of Narnia with Mom.
And you know what? And it's funny because I got up at 5:30 this morning, and she was already up with Clover. Mm-hmm. And I walk out into the den, and guess what she's watching?
Harry Potter?
Nope.
Narnia.
So I was like, all right, and I told her to go back to bed, and I'd sit there with Clover for a little bit, and instead of turning it off, I watched all the way to the end, and then of course I flipped on my fishing shows after it's over with. But.
Yeah, but from that, like I always loved fantasy and stuff like that. I never really got into sci-fi. I watched a little bit of the Star Wars.
I hate sci-fi. I hate everything about Star Wars. I hate everything about Star Trek. I can't stand anything that's futuristic.
I've gotten more into sort of like not post-apocalyptic, but like dark sci-fi, like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, where like it's a whole bunch of it's in the future, but it's corporations.
The only thing I understand is Blade Runner.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the fuck Cyberpunk is.
Cyberpunk's newer and it started as like a tabletop thing, like Dungeons and Dragons, but it was sort of it's a sci-fi sense, but it's really good, and I've really enjoyed it. Like getting into stuff like that.
I bet you didn't know that I did theater in high school.
I think you told me that. I just didn't.
The Hobbit.
You did The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Were you Frodo? Were you Frodo?
No. It was with Bilbo Baggins. But what the hell? I think it was
a troll.
No. You're an idiot. I was a one of the elves.
Do you have a picture of this?
I don't know.
I would love to see you as an elf.
Ain't no way.
That would be your contact.
That's why I said. That's why thank God there weren't freaking phones.
Oh, it must be in the paper sometime.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I'll find it.
No, you won't.
I will find it.
You won't.
I will try to find it.
Go ahead.
All right.
You'll never find it.
I will. All right. You know what happens when you tell me no?
Oh, because there isn't any. I know there isn't any.
No, for a fact.
Oh, there's one.
I will find it.
Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck.
I will contact whoever I need to contact. But as we're turning off the lights in Duff's Tavern and putting up the chairs, are there any parting words you want to say?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What do I tell you all the time when you go out?
Don't add to the population. Don't decrease from the population.
There you go.
John added another thing to that.
What is it?
He says, but if you do something bad, name it after me.
Jesus.
And on that note, I hope you guys enjoy another episode of Duff's Tavern. Thank you, Dad, for coming and sharing your stories. I've been wanting you to share for a while.
My pleasure. Love you, buddy.
Love you too. We have merch now. Links in the description. Go get a sticker, t-shirts, hats, or whatever.
Buy his merch. Don't make me come to your house. Buy the damn merch.
I think some people might want you to come to their house.
No.
Have a drink and cigar with them.
Speaking of which, we need some bourbon and we need some cigars.
Next time we will do that.
Okay. We smoking here?
No, not in here.
Oh.
We can smoke in my trailer.
All right. When you get the trailer.
Yes. Hope you all have a good night and hope you enjoy.